Emerging as one of the league's elite pitchers. Tonight, he'll face off against the league's most feared hitter in Mike Trout. Can the kid send Trout fishing and reel in win number 20 for the Astros? We'll find out starting now. We're at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California, where the Houston Astros are set to take on the Angels in Game 3 of this four-gamer. The division rivals have split the first two, and now ace Dallas Keuchel hits the bump to give Houston the edge. Hi, everybody. Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum with you. It has been a quiet series to this point with the bats for the Astros, and yet they managed to win the first game. But right now, it does appear that the bats are kind of stuck in neutral. Yeah, they are. Jared Weaver did a good job last night, made the adjustment. Yeah, back-to-back nights, we've seen 18 innings of baseball, really only one inning of offense that we've seen from these Houston Astros. One guy that hasn't needed a whole lot of offense, Dallas Keuchel, he'll take it upon himself. You can see going back to July 25th of last year, 17 starts, an ERA that's best in the major leagues at 180, opponents batting average against below 200, and the other numbers that are best simply all the way through the major leagues. Dallas Keuchel has been that good. Yeah, Dallas Keuchel's pitching performance is powered by Kubota. Last time he was out there, he had a season-high 8 Ks in that last start against Texas. Did a great job working the fastball up in the zone. We know he's got a good breaking ball slider, but it was that last start where he broke out that changeup and really befuddled some of those Texas hitters. 13 consecutive quality starts. He also leads the majors in ERA, and as Ash said, that opponent batting average against, so expect good pitching tonight. Coming up, while Jose Altuve continues doing what Jose Altuve does, the rest of the Astros lineup has failed to live up to the Hollywood hype, as of late anyway. Kevin Eschenfelder takes us inside the numbers when we return.
Stadium of Anaheim. Astros and Angels, game 3 of the 4-game series. Kevin Eschenfelder back with you here in Anaheim. And, well, so far it has been feast or famine as far as this team is concerned when it comes to wins and losses. Really the only bright spot offensively during this series has been Jose Altuve starting to swing it once again. Jose with back-to-back multi-hit games. Been hard to keep him off the bases. He's had trouble as far as the stolen bases are concerned, but that's another story. 4 for 8 so far in this series. But for the Astros to come out and be successful, they are going to need more than just Jose Altuve, who, by the way, is in the 2-hole tonight. Jake Marisnick leads off tonight, so a bit of a change with A.J. Hinch's lineup tonight. Jack in the Box takes us inside the box score. The Astros 19 and 11. And look at these numbers. In the wins, the Astros 6 1/4 runs scored. In the losses, a little over a run per game. In those 11 losses, they have really struggled offensively. In the 11 losses, the numbers look like this. 119 runs scored in 19 wins, just 14 runs scored in the 11 Astros losses. A couple of bright spots to look for tonight, though. 14-1 is the record when either Dallas Keuchel or Colin McHugh is on the mound, and of course that is the case tonight. So we're getting ready for first pitch, game 3 of this 4-game series here in Anaheim, and for that, let's head to the booth to Alan Ashby and Jeff Blum. Guys?
All right, thanks a lot, Kevin, and we are rooting for some offense tonight, and from these guys in particular. Tonight's Astros starting lineup is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. In the top spot, Jake Marisnick hitting 3 1/4, followed by Jose Altuve at 349 and Luis Valbuena. The middle 3, Evan Gattis's the DH, Colby Rasmus in the 5 spot, and then Chris Carter at first base. And the bottom 3, getting the start behind the plate, Hank Conger, Preston Tucker once again in left field, and at shortstop tonight, Marwin Gonzalez.
On the mound for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, it is going to be Matt Shoemaker. Get a look at his numbers on the season, making his 6th start. Numbers aren't all that great right now, but last year had 16 wins, finished 2nd in Rookie of the Year voting. His 3rd start at home. 3 career games against those Houston Astros, 1-0 with a 5.79. That's only a 9 1/3 innings pitch where he gave up 6 earned runs. Feature a fastball quite a bit, split finger slider, and then a curveball.
Only one of those 3 games against the Astros a start, and he's allowed 11 hits in 9 1/3 innings. So the Astros trying to get something going offensively here tonight, and that has been tough going. The only inning in which they've scored in the first 2 games, inning 9 of that first game, as the Astros won it 3-2 over the Angels. And the first pitch of the night, that fastball finds the outside edge.
Marisnick finally found himself at the top of the lineup. Been putting up great numbers in that 9-hole.
Would you say he's earned it to this point?
Absolutely.
He's really played well. We knew defensively that was likely to be the case. 64 beautiful degrees here in Southern California. But he has been much more than just a defensive center fielder. He has been a strong force offensively for the ball club. And you can look at the .325 batting average, but that hasn't been the whole story. He's hit with power, the 3 home runs. He's driven in runs, 13. And you keep in mind, a lot of his action early on, batting 9th. Counted 2 balls and 2 strikes as Jake Marisnick leads off here.
I'm sure A.J. Hinch is trying to create a lineup that produces more runs more consistently. Getting those 2 guys, it pushes, with Marisnick at the top, it pushes Altuve into that 2-hole. So you've got your top 2 hitters hitting well over 300. But it's those guys after those top 2 that you worry about right now.
That fastball lined down the right field side, so Marisnick is at it. And his speed, he wanted to head to second base, but his foot slipped off the bag. He didn't hit the bag exactly where you would like to, and his foot just slid right over the bag, so he winds up with a single to start it.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to make too, Ash. If you're a young ball player at home, you want to try and touch the inside corner of the bag. As you watch Marisnick take off, this is a sure double in normal circumstances if he keeps his footing.
And it was the perfect execution, too, going down the line.
Yeah, did you see it hit the top of the bag? And they're exactly right. That's what caused the slip.
And we've loved what we've seen from Jake, not only with the success, but the way he goes about his business. So he takes the lead. The Astros lead the league in stolen bases, although were caught twice last night. Jose Altuve, in each case, was caught. And now Altuve at the plate, had 3 hits as Marisnick goes. The pitch a strike, and the throw down is a strike. The young catcher Carlos Perez out of the Astros system has thrown very well, and he nailed Altuve early last night.
And both times runners running on the first pitch. But what I was impressed with is watch the footwork of Carlos Perez back there. Quiet feet, nice and quick, and that release. Get that ball there in plenty of time for Giovitello to lay the tag on him.
Just a perfect effort from behind the plate. So the Astros have run into a roadblock here in terms of the running game the last couple of nights in Anaheim. It's a ball and a strike on Jose. So you get what you want. Marisnick starts it with the base hit, but that running game is sputtering. This pop fly will find the seats on the first base side out of the reach of Albert Pujols. 1-2 on Jose, batting .349.
It was interesting last night. Those two caught stealing by Jose Altuve, and then nothing but base hits the rest of the way, and they didn't try and attempt to steal later in the game. They didn't get a runner to second base the entire game last night.
Weaver did a nice job last night, and he hasn't been particularly great in terms of shutting down running games. Here's a drive deep to left field, back at the wall. See ya! Jose Altuve has launched one, his 4th of the year, and the Astros go on top 1-0.
How often do you see it? A guy gets caught stealing, and the next guy hits a ball that would have driven in that runner. It's unbelievable to me how many times that happens. Altuve showing that quick bat right here, though. And again, everybody thinks Altuve is just a little fella going to slap the ball around the ballpark. You make a mistake up and in, he's got the hands to get that barrel of the ball nice and quick. This is not an easy park to leave for a right-handed hitter either.
Not a bit. Not a bit. So a legit dinger by Altuve, again his 4th of the year. And it's 1-0 Houston here in the first inning. A bunt effort on the third base side as Valbuena leaves it foul.
Chance to look at the location on this. They wanted the ball elevated, but that's up in Evan Gattis territory. Might be something going on in the cage that we don't know about, because their ability to get the barrel on the ball that high is pretty impressive.
21 RBIs on the year now for the little man. Tell you what, he may be small in stature, but his abilities are enormous. Valbuena with an 0-1 count. And this fastball hit in the air to center field. Into right center comes Trout to make the play, and out number 2.
Yeah, there's guys that maximize ability, but I don't know if there's a word to tell you what he does with his talent as we look at. We just saw the back of the number of Calvin Cowgill out there in left field on that home run. Mike Trout in center, Cole Calhoun in right, Taylor Featherston at third base for the Los Angeles Angels, Eric Ivar at short, Johnny Giovitello at second base, Albert Pujols at first, and Carlos Perez back behind the plate for his second night in a row, working with Matt Shoemaker.
Evan Gattis aggressively after the first fastball fouls it back. So Blummer was talking about Matt Shoemaker, who had signed originally back in 2008 with the Angels as a free agent. He was non-drafted. Grew up in Michigan. Toiled in the minor leagues until a couple of years ago, pitched in 1 game for the Angels, and then last year a 16-game winner. He was 16-4 with the Angels. And down on strikes, Evan Gattis, so that'll do it. The Astros get a run on a couple of hits. The bomb by Jose Altuve puts a run on the board. 1-0 Houston after a half an inning. Play. We go to the bottom of the inning. And for Mike Scioscia's LA Angels of Anaheim, the lineup goes something like this. Cole Calhoun in the top spot, followed by Mike Trout and Albert Pujols. Middle three, David Freese, Eric Ibar, and Johnny Giavotella. And the bottom three, Carlos Perez, who's already thrown out a runner, Taylor Featherston, and Colin Cowgill. So Dallas Keuchel set to work it here this evening. Spotted with the early 1-0 lead, and the first pitch drilled into left center field. So here come the Angels. Cole Calhoun with the solid base hit to start it.
This pitch by pitch is presented by Steel Dealers, and it's Dallas Keuchel versus Mike Trout. It's actually pitched quite well in 22 at-bats. Mike Trout has struck out 9 times. You can see the various ways that Dallas Keuchel can go about doing his business. He's got a good changeup, gets him down in the zone, usually where Mike Trout has success. Once he sets him up down there, you can start climbing the ladder and you get a chance to look at the graphic, show you where some of those pitches are. Typical place to see that fastball is up and in against Mike Trout to get the swing and miss, and does a good job of keeping most of his off-speed pitches down in the zone.
Trout takes down and away. To get a glimpse of how rare that base hit by Cole Calhoun is against Dallas Keuchel, Dallas had pitched 45 innings coming in and allowed just 21 hits. So he's been remarkable on the hill. Fastball on the hands, grounded left side, and everybody's safe. And we'll see how this is ruled. Marwin couldn't come up with it, trying to make a play to second base.
And the reason he's trying to go to second base, because a ball hit in that area is not going to, you're not going to get Mike Trout running down to first base. Kind of in that 5.5 hole, but not hit hard enough to where Marwin could make a play on anybody right there. So he was trying to go to second base and just didn't get the glove down in time.
It's an infield single for Mike Trout. Back-to-back hits to start things here in the first inning against Dallas Keuchel. Had Marwin had to make a play to first base, no shot on Mike Trout, no question. The only play would have been to second base, and Albert Pujols stands in and pops up the first pitch. It's Altuve calling on the infield grass. He'll make the catch and a big first out.
It's a huge first out. Runners at first and second. Double play is still in order, which is great for Dallas Keuchel. See his numbers on the year. Pretty fantastic. I don't have to say anything about that. But last year, Keuchel led the majors, getting 36 double play balls. So now, great spot for him to get more. We've already talked about the ground ball percentage for Dallas Keuchel is fantastic too. 63% of the time he's getting the ball hit on the ground.
We talked in the pregame about Dallas Keuchel, 13 consecutive quality starts dating back to the 15th of August last year. Ties for the longest streak by an Astros since Wandy Rodriguez pulled it off. And now 1 ball and no strikes on the DH, David Freese. And that streak of 13 consecutive quality starts, the most in the major leagues right now. A 1-1 count. Here's how incredible this game can be. You can pitch that well, and the record during that span for Dallas Keuchel is just 5-1. His ERA at 1.69. Opponent's batting average against 188 as he gets in front on David Freese. That 1.69 ERA, best in the major leagues during that span. Second best, Edison Volquez at 189, so gives you an idea how good he has been. And A.J. Hinch blessed with a guy on the mound in his first year now managing the Astros that has been really remarkable. Just inside.
I love that he comes in there with that fastball. Only throws fastballs around 88 miles an hour to 90 miles an hour, but still not afraid to come in there. And that's because he does such a good job of setting guys up on that outside corner before he comes in there trying to stand them up.
On the hands again, fouled back. Good swing by Freese. Keuchel has won 5 consecutive decisions. And an ERA of 0.80 through his first 6 starts. 3 of those starts scoreless. Tries to come with a changeup, and that fills the count 3-2. Angels with good speed on the bases. Calhoun at second, Trout at first, and we'll see how they play it. Eric Ibar waiting on deck. Keuchel very tough to run on with that consistent slide step. And ball 4, so that'll load him up for Ibar. And that walk extremely rare for Dallas. So the Astros jump on top, a home run by Jose Altuve, but a leadoff single on the first pitch seen by Cole Calhoun. Mike Trout followed with an infield single. Pujols popped out, and now the walk to Freese has the bases jammed. The Astros infield will play for 2 at short and second, as that first pitch off speed misses low. Eric Ibar hitting .223 on the season. He is not homered, driven in 9. And what a big time this would be for Keuchel to get that ground ball to start a double play. And 2-0 the count. And now that sets up for the hitter the 2-0 look for and likely get fastball scenario. The walk of Freese, the 14th issued by Dallas this year. Ground ball back past the mound into center field. 1 run scores, 2 will score as Trout just sprints on in. A 2-run single by Eric Ibar, and the Angels respond quickly. 2-1, Halos on top.
Good piece of hitting, not trying to do too much against Dallas Keuchel, and again it's a ground ball, but just much better placement on Eric Ibar's part, hitting this one back up the middle. Astros defense playing straight up, but Keuchel did fall behind in that count, put it in the hitter's count. Therefore Ibar can be a little more aggressive, knowing that Keuchel's going to more likely than not throw a strike, get something good to hit.
So the Angels immediately on top here. Still 1 out. Johnny Giavotella at the plate. Second baseman hitting .278. He's done a nice job taking over now as the everyday second baseman. Keuchel's such a good fielding pitcher. Sometimes surprising to see a ground ball get by him, and now he falls behind again. 2-0 the count. Hank Conger goes out to the mound.
Strami's going to come out too and have a talk with him, the Astros pitching coach. But I wonder if he sees something mechanically, because we haven't seen Keuchel miss badly this often this early in a game. Usually he misses just a couple inches off the edges of the plate, but he's really missing kind of wildly to that arm side.
Yep. And this is extremely rare. The most runs Keuchel has allowed in a game in his 6 starts this year, 2. He's matched it already here tonight in the first inning. And he had only allowed 2 runs in 1 other game. That was April 12th at Texas against the Rangers, as he worked 7 innings to allow those 2 runs, and now it's 3-0. Home plate umpire tonight, Rob Drake. Gabe Morales at first, Joe West down at second, and Kerwin Danley's at third. And the 3-0. Ball 4. Second time in the inning, the bases have been loaded for Dallas Keuchel, and the catcher Carlos Perez comes to the plate.
Anybody else on the mound, we'd be freaking out right now trying to figure out what's going to happen, getting the bullpen up, but it's Dallas Keuchel.
Yep.
Again, a ground ball gets him out of this situation, and who knows, he may settle. We've seen him often enough that he might actually settle down and pitch great the rest of the game, just having a little bit of a speed bump right here, but needs to get that ground ball.
Gets ahead, 0-1 on Perez. Just a youngster now in the big leagues is Perez. And we've mentioned it numerous times. Part of a trade coming from the Astros to the Angels this offseason. Boy, that's a pretty close pitch. The 1-1 misses. So 2-1, and it's an uncomfortable feeling first inning now for Dallas.
Dallas is 3-0 at Angels Stadium, but that ERA right around almost 4 at 3.98. 5 games, 14 earned runs, and 31 1/3, 2/3 innings.
Don't know if the fans here in Anaheim know what a rarity they're looking at right now with Keuchel. 3 hits, 2 walks here in the inning. Only Pujols has been retired as he popped out. Ground ball to short. Can they get 2? Marwin, Altuve on to Carter, and they get the double play. So Keuchel gets out of the jam, allows just the 2 runs in the inning, and gets the big twin killing. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Jack in the Box, Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. We're at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, California. Doesn't look like that anymore. It looks a lot like that. Angels on top 2-1. We played 1 inning. Colby Rasmus leads off in the second. The Astros got hits out of Marisnick and Altuve in the first inning. However, Marisnick was caught stealing prior to Altuve launching his 4th long ball of the year. Angels with 3 hits, a couple of walks. Picked up a pair of runs in their first. And now Matt Shoemaker set to work here in the second inning. Shift on for Colby as he takes a strike. Rasmus 5 home runs already on the year, hitting .247. Pops it up left side. Is there room? No. That's back of the Angels dugout. 2-3 rows. 0-2 the count on Colby. Colby's managed to score 13 runs on the season and has stolen a base. He runs well. As he takes down and in. That run in the first inning for Houston on the Altuve home run, just their 4th scored here in the series. Each team has won a game, splitting the first 2. The Astros taking the first one, and then last night the Angels shutting out the Astros. Jared Weaver picking up the complete game shutout. Down and in, so it's 3-2. So neither pitcher overly sharp here early on. Certainly Dallas Keuchel very fortunate to get that ground ball for the double play to end the first inning. Colby has hit just 144 lifetime against the Halos and takes ball 4. The leadoff walk brings up Chris Carter. Carter hitting 152.
Be nice to see Chris light it up in this series. Pick up his pitcher Dallas Keuchel, let alone pick himself up.
Yeah, that might be the biggest pickup that Carter could get right about now. And he's had success in this ballpark in the past. Carter takes high. 152 the batting average. 4 dingers for Chris. And lifetime against the Angels, Carter has 13 long balls. Those coming in 50 games played against the Angels. 267 the lifetime mark. Hits one in the air and deep right center field. Going back at the wall and watching it go out is Calhoun. It's a 2-run bomb, number 5 on the year for Chris Carter. And there you go. That's what the Astros are looking for. 3-2 Houston.
It's a start, Ash. Picked the right time to do it, picking up Dallas Keuchel. That'll get you some high fives, and even better that he's going Oppo Taco right here. That's a fastball middle out over the plate. Head down on contact, drives through it. A big, strong man like that, it doesn't look like he puts much oomph behind that swing, but if he barrels it up, it's going to go.
So 2 runs in, nobody out for the Astros here in the second inning. Hank Conger at the plate. Big swing, gets jammed and hits it on the ground to second base. Gio Votella with the play, and out number 1.
Could that be the beginning?
Yeah, that's the thing. And I think we're all wondering that. And I think we've been wondering for some time with Chris. When does he find his stroke and settle in like we saw so much of last year? Anything for you about him going opposite field here?
That's everything. That's usually when you see power hitters, when they're driving the ball out the other way, that usually means they're getting locked in. It's good to see him driving the fastball that way, not trying to leak out and turn on it. Letting the ball travel, that shows you he's got confidence in his hands. But now the question is going to be, when he gets that off-speed pitch, is he going to be able to stay back with those same hands and stay on the ball?
Preston Tucker at the plate, just in his 3rd major league game. Picked up his first major league hit and RBI in game 1, and it was a big one as he tied the ball game at 2 in the 9th inning with that hit. 2 balls and a strike. Jared Weaver might have exploited Preston Tucker a bit last night. Late in the ball game, struck him out on 3 changeups. And so you wonder how much off speed Tucker might see.
Yeah, big leagues, they'll keep throwing it to you until you make the adjustment. That's an interesting number right there, dropping down on that bug. Last year in 136 innings, 14 home runs given up. This year, 29 2/3, giving up 9 bombs.
Here's a line shot left center field, but Trout was played that way. And out number 2. Good at bat, good look and swing from Preston Tucker.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
With 2 down, the 9-hitter Marwin Gonzalez comes to the plate. Well, we talked about silent offense during the open today a bit, and here we go. A little bit of a turnaround in game 3.
Those guys, they're piping that feed into the clubhouse, pumping these guys up.
Now, do you think we inspired them or
just made them
just
mad?
Angered them?
Hey, anger can be a gift sometimes.
Yeah, whatever it takes, huh?
Absolutely.
Marwin Gonzalez 0 for his last 6. Tries to drop one down. Has an 0-2 count. Marwin has a home run while hitting .271 on the season. And down on strikes, Marwin Gonzalez. Second strikeout for Matt Shoemaker. But Chris Carter gets the big swing of the inning. Two-run bomb to right field, and the Astros retake the lead. Eight, 9, and 1 coming up for the Angels against Dallas Keuchel, who struggled in the first inning. And we'll see if he can get things turned back around. He got out of that frame, bases loaded, and got a ground ball for a double play off the bat of Carlos Perez. And now Taylor Featherston at the plate. He's the third baseman tonight. Featherston takes a strike. Keuchel with 2 walks in that first inning, clearly not sharp. Chris Carter with a 2-run home run. It's his 5th on the year. Take a guess, Mr. Blum. What date last year Carter hit his 5th home run on?
July 4th.
Well, not exactly. Today's date happens to be May 9th. And
let me guess again.
Okay.
May 9th.
That was the date. Now, it was game number 33 for the Astros. This is game number 31. So he hit 37 home runs last year and hit his 5th home run in their 33rd game.
So there's no panic.
So
no reason to panic.
We're right on, in fact, ahead of pace, right?
Way ahead.
So relax the angst. Down on strikes, Featherston out number 1 here in the second inning. First strikeout for Keuchel. They'll bring up the left fielder, Colin Cowgill. But I think we might want to look back on this home run by Chris Carter as hopefully being that turnaround point. Cowgill, right-hand hitter, getting the start in left field. Grounds one back to the mound. Dallas Keuchel, again, just a great fielding pitcher, able to make the play. But one ground ball got by him already tonight. That by Eric Ibar, and it drove in a pair.
Join the Astros at Minute Maid Park on Saturday, May 16th. As they take on the Blue Jays, 10,000 fans will receive a Dallas Keuchel Gold Glove Gnome presented by HEB. May 16th is also Whataburger Military Night. For more information, good grief, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
2 down, Cole Calhoun at the plate. Hits it sharply, backhanded by Carter. He'll feed to Keuchel, and that'll do it. A nice 1-2-3 inning. A couple of ground ball outs to go with a strikeout. We played 2. It's 3-2 Astros.
We'll celebrate the Astros' best start since 1986 with a special ticket promotion that offers limited lower level and 200 level seats for $19. And you got it, 86 cents. That's Monday through Thursday games in the month of May. For more information, visit astros.com/tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Astros giving up a little early, but coming right back and taking this lead now 3-2, guys.
Got to love the long balls, especially when we've been kind of begging to see the offense come to life. Jake Marisnick, leadoff man, and starts things here in the third inning. If you're just checking in, Jake is the leadoff man tonight. That pushes Altuve into the 2 spot in the order. Marisnick had a base hit down the right field line that came in the first inning. He was going to stretch into a double. His foot slipped on the bag and he had to hold for a single. Then tried to steal second base, but was gunned down. A perfect throw by Perez, the catcher. Altuve then followed with a long ball. Chris Carter has added one with Colby Rasmus aboard. In the gap in left center field and dropping, and a diving effort can't come up with it. There goes Marisnick into second base. A stand-up double. So Jake Marisnick 2 for 2 on the night, single and double, and it brings up Jose Altuve.
I actually thought Mike Trout, from our vantage point, had a shot at catching this. See him get a good break on that ball. He was chasing it down, but he pulled up and we saw Colin Caligo with his head down. Just another good piece of hitting. There's a man that's locked in. Doesn't matter if he gets a day off, hitting ninth, hitting first. He's going to go up there and give you some quality at bats right now, and that ball is finding the barrel of his bat quite frequently.
Altuve with his 4th home run of the year coming in the first inning. Hit a bomb down the left field side. So Jose 1 for 1, hitting .354. By the way, with the hit now, Marisnick at .341. So these two guys are really dealing with the bats. With the 2 home runs tonight for the club, 44 on the year for Houston. And again, that's best in the American League. They lead the league in stolen bases, but have been caught 3 straight times now by the Angels. Jose chops it foul, has an 0-2 count. It was really something watching late last night. Altuve picking up his 3rd hit of the night. Just reached out on a Jared Weaver pitch down and away. Hit one off the end of the bat and flared it into right field. And Weaver showed the frustration that I think so many pitchers have felt in facing Altuve. You make what you think is a perfect pitch, and you just cannot get this guy. Little chopper is foul. Make the really good pitch, and he finds a way to foul it off or flare it somewhere. Drove in that game winner in game 1 of the series with a little roller on the right side. The Angels tried to turn 2, but that was a mistake. With the speed of Altuve going down the line, there was no way they would get the double play, and a run scored on the play. Little spin move to second base. Take a peek at last night at what Altuve did.
Watch Jared Weaver's reaction. You got to be kidding me. I made the pitch I wanted and he still gets a hit. Altuve is one of those guys, you just throw scouting reports out the window.
I agree. Nice job by Perez. 1-2 the count. Yeah, you can talk all you want about zones and all that sort of thing, but Altuve, I don't think he thinks in that way at all, and I think he can handle anything. I played on Indians clubs that used to face Rod Carew, and he was the same kind of hitter. And Frank Robinson, the manager, finally said, just throw the fastball right down the middle, let him hit it 390 feet for an out. And it actually worked out at times. Ground ball right side. Altuve is going to get the job done. He grounds out to second. Marisnick moves to third. And so with 1 out, the Astros have a man at third base for Valbuena.
What a great example Altuve is to this Astros ball club. Doesn't have to be pretty. He's gotten hits on worse swings. But right here, gives himself up, moves that runner to third base. I think that sends a message to everybody in that clubhouse that it's going to take all 25 of us to win this ball game, including me, even though I can get a hit 35% of the time if I wanted to.
It's about right. And certainly bears out this year. Infield drawn in. Snap throw to third base, but back in Marisnick.
Carlos Perez feeling a little giddy after throwing out some Astros base runners.
He's a good-looking throwing catcher, at least for the time being.
To me, he looks like he's got great mechanics behind home plate. The footwork is amazing.
Again, came out of the Astros system. He headed to the Angels in the Hank Conger deal. Line drive is fouled down the right field side. 1-1 the count. Valbuena hit it sharply but flied to center field in the first inning. Hitting at .204 now as he stands in. His big contribution thus far has been with the long ball bat. He has 7 home runs. Also defensively, he's made some very good plays. 2 balls and a strike. Waiting on deck, cleanup man Evan Gattis.
It's a big run down there at third base. Look at the Astros numbers. If they score 4 runs in a game, what's their record, Ash?
4 runs in a game. They have been perfect on the years. Is 16-0? Is that the number?
You are correct. You know.
Line drive, right center field, drops for a hit. That'll score Marisnick, who tagged wisely on the play. RBI single Valbuena. And there's that run that Blummer's talking about. It's 4-2. Astros on top.
Good piece of hitting. Great at bat by Valbuena. Got himself a couple of hanging breaking balls. He hooked one earlier in this at bat. This one right here does a better job of recognizing it, staying back. Finds some open territory to drive in that run. Big 4th run for the Houston Astros.
And how about Jake Marisnick? That double to get things started, his 5th on the year. Angels now get Jose Alvarez up in their bullpen. Left-hander starts tossing. Evan Gattis takes a strike. It's 0-1. Gattis a strikeout victim in the first. Shoemaker has struck out 2. He also got Marwin Gonzalez to end the second. It's not often you're talking about a club that leads the league in home runs that plays so many games tight to the vest. But that's, for the time being, seems to be who the Astros are. But Jeff brings up a very big number so far.
Yeah.
That 4-run mark. And the Astros would love to extend that figure here this evening. Gattis swings through it, down on strikes for the second time tonight. So Evan is 0 for 2. That's the second out. It brings up Colby Rasmus.
Road trip's not getting off to a good start for Evan Gattis. Now 0 for 10 on this LA series. At homestand saw him hit .286. 4 home runs and 11 RBIs. You'd like to see him put that in his suitcase and bring it along.
Rasmus drew a walk and scored on the home run by Carter. And now hammers one right center field. Watch it at the wall. See ya! 3rd home run of the night for the Astros. A 2-run jack. And they extend the lead to 6-2. Number 6 on the year for Colby Rasmus.
Good fastball hitter, and Colby Rasmus guessed right. It's that split finger, and that thing's fluttering up there, just flattens out right into the barrel of Colby Rasmus. No doubt this ball struck well into that right center field stands.
So there's one of those swings that kind of extends the lead now a bit. And for Dallas Keuchel, generally speaking, you would figure that that is something he can take and run with, but not his strongest start of the year.
14 home runs given up last year for Shoemaker, now 11 on the season with these 3 added on. this afternoon or this evening for the Houston Astros.
You know, Colby Rasmus has kind of quietly moved along, but 6 home runs already. A very nice figure on the team with the most home runs in the league.
And growing. There's plenty of game left.
45 home runs now. This is game 31. $12 RBIs now for Colby. So dingers tonight out of Altuve, Carter, and Rasmus, and we're just in the 3rd inning. Carter takes up and in. 3-2 the count. Well, for Matt Shoemaker, not the kind of night he was looking forward to. Carter down on strikes. Couple of strikeouts in the inning, 4 on the night for Shoemaker, but he walks off after 2.5, trailing 6-2.
As anybody I've been around, you know, he can change speeds, he can change shapes of his breaking ball, he can throw fastball changeup combos that impact guys. He can do anything he wants to with the ball, so that helps him attack the opponent. And he can get creative, he can read swings and execute whatever our catchers ask out of him, which is a good weapon to have in your arsenal.
Dallas Keuchel trying to make this 6-2 lead now stand up as he works in the 3rd inning. 2-hitter Mike Trout starts things. He'll be followed by Albert Pujols and David Freese. Trout had an infield single in the 1st inning and scored. That was run number 2 for the Angels. And that count now quickly at 0-2. Trout is now 4 for 20 on the season against Houston. Well, you can back that off to 3 for 19. Gotten off to a slow start in the month of May. Hitting just 194. Won't hold him down long, though. 2-2 the count. Overall batting average 296. For Mike Trout, 8 home runs, 18 RBIs. As he hits one high in the air, not deep in center field. Marisnick is there. And that's out number 1.
Take a look at Keuchel's pitch usage. 2015, you see the numbers averaging on the left, but that last start, this kind of hits on what you were talking about during that game and earlier in the broadcast, Ash, about how that changeup came into play. That big Texas lineup, and he did a good job. Using that changeup a little bit more, increased that strikeout percentage for him too. He struck out 8 guys in that Texas game.
Had a 1-0 lead till the 8th inning. Finally allowed a run and had to leave in a 1-1 tie. Albert Pujols popped out in the first inning. That proved to be a big out. It was the first out of that frame. Dallas Keuchel could have been touched for a larger inning than just the 2 runs. But for the pop out by Pujols and then a double play grounded into by Carlos Perez, the catcher. Strike 3 called right on the inside corner. That is working it well.
You can lock up a hitter like Albert Pujols. He's done a pretty good job. And that, again, AJ's talking about that arsenal. And yes, it's just a fastball, but it's where he locates this thing and at what point in the count he locates that pitch on the inside corner.
2 outs, bases empty. Cleanup man David Freese at the plate. Yeah, sometimes I feel to be cautious about how many weapons a guy has. Sometimes it's how well he utilizes the weapons that he does possess. And I think Dallas is exceptional in that regard.
Well, he's got 4 pitches, a changeup, cutter every once in a while, fastball, slider. They're hitting 0 against his changeup coming into this game.
Not a single hit.
20 at bats, yeah. The cutter, they're hitting 200. His fastball that he throws 60% of the time that we just saw in that graphic, they're only hitting 200 off his fastball. And he only throws 88 to 90 miles an hour.
Pretty remarkable. Of course, we just saw him lock up, as you said, Albert Pujols on that inside edge.
They're hitting 0-32 against his slider.
Comes with the 2-2 pitch and now sees that count at 3-2. When he's really on, you will not see him miss like that unless he intends to. David Freese drew a walk in the first. One of the 2 walks issued by Keuchel in that frame. Freese getting a good few swings already early in the game. Five for 18 on the series against Houston, or on the season so far. Big, strong third baseman. He's the DH here this evening.
He's actually seen the ball pretty well off Dallas Keuchel. 8 for 14 in his career. 1 home run, 6 RBIs.
Hits one on the ground. Diving stop. Valbuena gets up and fires and got him. What a play. Luis Valbuena wide to his left to retire David Freese. A 1-2-3 third.
getaway day tomorrow, Sunday, May 10th. Last one here in Anaheim on this quick road trip out to the West Coast before the Astros enjoy that day off on the 11th. Start a nice long homestand in front of the Astro fans. 2 against San Francisco Giants, 4 against Toronto, 3 against the Oakland A's before heading back out on the road. A little bit of an East Coast swing. But again, most of that month of May at home in the confines of Minute Maid Park.
Matt Shoemaker had a rough night tonight. Yielded 6 runs, 3 home runs to the Astros hitters, and he's done after 3 innings of work. Hank Conger leads it off, and he will face new left-hander Jose Alvarez. Alvarez just 5'11", 180, and brings a strike to start things. Working now in his 11th game on the year, 13 innings, and allowing just 7 hits. Also will strike out a few, 12 strikeouts in those 13 innings. Conger with that count at 0-2. He'll be followed by Preston Tucker and Marwin Gonzalez. And again, Shoemaker, a 16-game winner for the Angels last year. So one of those nights that it didn't work out. Good changeup, strikes out Conger, out number 1. And that's already 5 strikeouts of Astros hitters. But you don't worry about that when you're getting long balls at this rate. One out for Preston Tucker. Tucker hit it well, lined out to center field in the 2nd inning. We'll get to see some at-bats against left-handers and see how he fares. Impressive-looking young hitter. Now, I have a feeling it's not going to take long before we see him launch something.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. There's a shocker.
Beach ball in Southern California.
Well, that's Dave from Aliso Viejo again, crushing some beach balls out there, amongst other things.
Dave's not going to be happy with you.
That's all right. I'll take him out for a burger.
Ball and a strike on Preston. These burgers solve just about everything, don't they?
Oh, yeah. Burger and a milkshake. Make anybody your friend.
1 out, we're in the 4th inning. 6-2 Astros on top. Sharply hit ball, but a diving stop by Gio Votella, and he gets him. Preston Tucker has been robbed now in the major leagues.
No sympathy in that dugout for the rookie either. We're going to just give him a pat on the back and say, keep swinging it, kid.
It's right about where, maybe a little off the line, but similar to the base hit Tucker had in game 1 here as he drove in the key run in the 9th inning. 2 outs for Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin from the right side of the plate now. Gonzalez struck out to end the 2nd inning. Alvarez first came to the big leagues in 2013 with the Tigers, and then came on to the Angels last year. Pitch is hammered to left field, but there's room, and making the play is Cowgill, and that'll do it. A 1-2-3 4th inning. 6-2 Astros.
base. Louis Valbuena has been making it happen, laying out. And, of course, the wizard at second base, Jose Altuve, flashing some leather and then flashing some skin right there with that great pick. But that flip on that double play the first night in here was truly amazing. And tonight, got a chance to see out Valbuena's quick feet, layout skills, and strong arm. In order to win championships, you've got to have good pitching, good defense, some timely hitting, and we're seeing it all right here tonight as you get a chance to look at their numbers on the season and see where they rank in Major League Baseball. That ground ball percentage, 2. What I'd like to see is that fielding percentage. Those guys are on their toes knowing that their pitchers are going to give them a lot of action.
And Dallas Keuchel does a lot of that. He gets ahead on Eric Ibar to start here in the 4th inning. Ibar will be followed by Johnny Giovotella and Carlos Perez. That's 5, 6, 7 for the Angels. Angels got 2 runs in the 1st inning. The Astros with a run in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, and 3 in the 3rd. 3 long balls already. Home runs have come off the bats of Jose Altuve, Chris Carter, and Colby Rasmus. 2-run bombs by the latter, too. 0-2 the count. Half swing. Did he go through? They appeal, and no is the call down at first base. Gabe Morales with that call.
Good call. That was a full body check.
Eric Ibar had the big swing thus far for the Angels. 2-run single in the 1st inning, way out in front and down on strikes. That's 3 now recorded by Keuchel.
That changeup again. Chase almost at a fastball in the dirt. Comes back. Same arm speed, same release point, different pitch.
I think you just gave the key. Same arm speed. If you can deliver it with that same kind of arm speed as the fastball, you have got something.
Well, I think what gets lost, too, is we say arm speed, but in essence what we're saying is it's the same delivery.
Yep. Line drive base hit as Johnny Giovotella comes through. A 1-out single will bring up Carlos Perez.
And what I mean by that is we've seen guys that their motion or there will be something different in their delivery that'll tip off that they're about to throw an off-speed pitch. With Dallas Keuchel, all his mannerisms are the same on every single pitch.
I played with plenty of guys and against plenty that slowed down, or as you say, did something else different to tip off a changeup. It was always kind of the quirky pitch for guys. But those who perfected the changeup had great success. Perez had the big swing from Dallas Keuchel's perspective. He grounded into the double play to end the 1st inning. The bases loaded at the time. Lines one to right field. This is extra bases. Giovotella digging for 3rd, and he's going to keep on coming home. There will be no throw to the plate. RBI double by Perez, and the Angels pick up a run. It's 6-3 Houston.
I think Carlos Perez is thinking about seizing an opportunity here with the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Absolutely.
Chris Iannetta hitting sub 100. Carlos Perez coming over in that Hank Conger trade, realizing that he has a chance to stick with this ball club and maybe even steal a job from Chris Iannetta. Shoots this one just past an outstretched Chris Carter, and Giovotella, pretty good base running. A nice route around 2nd and around 3rd. Scores easy.
First major league double now for Carlos Perez. He now has 3 RBIs. Taylor Featherston is the hitter and fouls the first pitch. Featherston struck out as he led off the 2nd.
Taylor from Taylor, Texas.
Ah,
yeah. Rumor has it he was a travel ball teammate of Robbie Grossman.
Now has an 0-2 count, and Kevin Eschenfelder knows a little something about that.
Hey, he went to, you're half right, Blummer. He went to Katy Taylor High School.
Oh, my bad.
He went to Taylor High School in Katy. Did grow up playing with a lot of these guys, Robbie Grossman being one of them. They played travel ball together since they were about 14. He was Katy Taylor, then went on to TCU. Rule 5 pickup of He was drafted in the 5th round by the Rockies. Then he went on to the Cubs and Rule 5 pickup, and then traded over here to the Angels. Huge Astros fan. He said that it seems like all of the home movies growing up, there was always Bill Brown's voice in the background. He said he wants to meet Milo Hamilton when he comes to Houston.
Well, he's down on strikes right here. Second time tonight. The out recorded at first base. Second out of the inning. And now the 9-hitter Colin Cowgill comes to the plate. Well, can't blame a guy for wanting to meet Milo. Four strikeouts now for Dallas Keuchel. Well, I'll also bet he's a big Jeff Blondie fan.
Oh, man. That's a test to see how knowledgeable you are as an Astro fan if you know who I am.
Oh, please. Come on, Kevin. Give us some more on that.
He went on to say that his all-time favorite Astro was Jeff Blum.
Did he really?
Yeah, he really did.
See, I believe that.
No,
I fully
Kevin,
believe that.
Man.
Hey, I'm not.
You guys are just picking on me now.
Can't let facts get in the way of a good story.
I like that. That's a good thought. Appreciate you.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna run with that story.
I'll get you some media dining tomorrow.
You got it.
We got a debate going on amongst Astros fans. Who would be your favorite if you had been there? Pitch fouled back. Cowgill grounded out to the mound in the second inning.
Speaking of that, when do they come out with the Fantastic Four or the Fantasy Four or whatever we were talking about the last couple of nights?
Voting ended last night, right?
Yep, you're right.
Okay, so they reveal at the All-Star game.
Come on.
You're going to have to wait. Sleeping is going to be hard to come by for Jeff Blum.
I mean, are they counting with their toes? They got computers for that kind of stuff now, don't they?
It's all about suspense.
There's got to be an app for that.
You come out with a trailer these days, you see, but you make people wait for a good long while.
Just dangle that carrot out in front of them.
We're in the fourth inning. 6-3 Astros. Ground ball left side. Valbuena with the play and makes it. Nicely done on Cowgill. That'll do it. But the Angels pick up a run and leave a man in the fourth. 6-3. Astros on top.
Champion San Francisco Giants. It's a brief 2-game set. Tuesday, May 12th and Wednesday, May 13th. May 13th. Also, Dollar Hot Dog Wednesday at Minute Maid Park. For tickets, call 877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com. A couple of good pitching matchups in that one as well, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. And we've got a battle of the bats here this evening. 6-3, Astros lead over the Angels. We go to the fifth inning. Top of the order for the Astros.
Both teams trying to make up for the first two games.
Yeah, maybe so. Matt Shoemaker didn't last this evening. 3 innings against the Astros. and allowed home runs in each of the first 3 innings. And we've got a note on that one, as Jake Marisnick leads off 2 for 2. He has singled and doubled. He has scored a run. He's also been caught stealing. The last time the Astros, this one is hard for me to believe, last time the Astros hit home runs in each of the first 3 innings in a ball game came way back in 2004. That was October 2nd of 2004. Craig Biggio, Jeff Kent, and Craig Biggio.
Some pretty good ball players.
So it's been a while. And the Astros do it tonight with Altuve, Carter, and Colby Rasmus. Guys in the truck are grinding, aren't they?
They always do. Come up with some pretty good stuff.
Chris Pixoto, Astros PR guy, the man on the spot here on this road trip, comes up with that one. Jake Marisnick against right-hand pitching. How about this number? Jeff Blum just pulled this out. He was just working on his abacus. 423 is the figure.
Speaking of grinding, took me 4 innings to figure that out, Ash.
You never do stop on that thing. Marisnick with a 2-2 count hits it on the ground. Second baseman Gio Votella, and they'll finally get Marisnick. So he's 2 for 3 on the night. With 1 out, it brings up Jose Altuve.
He's human. Makes outs every once in a while.
Boy, he has been a really good human, as has Jose Altuve.
You know, we saw flashes of Jake last year where we thought he could be a pretty good hitter. The defense obviously there, but I didn't anticipate this. Good month and a half into the season.
So we're talking 30-plus games right now for Jake. Can he realistically put up some semblance of these kinds of numbers as Altuve just rakes one foul down the left side?
I think it might be a lot to ask the kid to hit 335 on the season.
And that's why I say some semblance. I mean,
yeah.
if he
275, 280,
yeah,
I would settle for that. His speed will get him some hits.
Steal a lot of bags. Altuve takes the ball 1-1. Altuve 3 for 4 last night, 1 for 4 in game 1, and drove in the key game-winning run in that game. He's 1 for 2 tonight. So Jose now 5 hits in the series. Jose Alvarez, the left-hander on the mound, has already shown that he has a very good changeup. Got Hank Conger swinging on that pitch in the 4th inning. Six runs, 6 hits for Houston. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Angels. Altuve takes away. You can see Altuve on that pitch watching the ball all the way past the plate. Some guys will lock the bat down. He just keeps it moving. That pops one foul first base side, and it'll be back to the first, second row.
He was thinking of trying to juice that ball again. He was going for number 2 in this game. Pretty aggressive swing on that 3-1 count.
Prior to tonight's first inning home run for Jose Altuve, his last long ball came on May 2nd against Seattle. Now he spaces him out very nicely as he fouls one down the right side. He's got 8 doubles on the year to go with his 4 home runs now, yet to triple this year. So maybe if there's a surprise, that might be one. And takes outside. Draws the 1-out walk. It'll bring up Luis Valbuena. Jose Altuve, 11 stolen bases, has now been caught 4 times. So we'll keep an eye on Jose at first.
It's going to be a little bit tougher with the left-hander Alvarez still out there. And we've seen the quick release from Carlos Perez behind home plate.
Good strong arm, accurate. And a little toss over. Valbuena 2 for 4 in last night's game after going 0 for 5 in the opener. But boy, he's been making some gems with the glove. Infield pinches in a bit at short and second. With that third inning base hit for Valbuena, he pushes the batting average to .211. Just trying to get that thing red hot for some period of time. A ball and a strike. The Astros start the night 19-11, 5 games in front of these Angels. Angels are in second place, Seattle, Texas, and Oakland trailing. And so the American League West, for the moment, all Houston. The Yankees lead in the East by 3 over Tampa Bay. The Tigers a half-game lead over KC in the Central. In the National League, it's the Mets in the East. They lead by 3.5 over Washington. St. Louis a big 6.5 game lead over the Cubs in the Central. And the Dodgers by 4 in the West. Valbuena down on strikes. 6 strikeouts now of Houston hitters. And with 2 down, it brings up Evan Gattis. Does Altuve even consider the running game right here, or just let Evan Gattis try to get some swings?
I'm letting Evan swing. Seen that pop that he has. He can drive you in easy with one swing. I don't think you necessarily need to risk it. You get thrown out. Evan Gattis is leading off the next inning,
which is not ideal.
I'd rather have him swing and try and drive in 2.
2-0 the count.
Good time to do it.
Angels pitching has yielded 2 walks on the evening. And now 3-0 the count. Colby Rasmus waits on deck. Even though Rasmus is a left-hand hitter, I can't imagine Alvarez thinking, well, let's go ahead and put Gattis on here.
Green light him too. Let him rip.
And ball 4. So a couple of walks here in the 5th inning, runners at first and second. Colby Rasmus has scored twice tonight. He has walked and homered. That home run is 6th on the year, and it was a bomb job in the 3rd inning.
Hanging split finger from Shoemaker. Smashed. It's good to see Jake back in the dugout. I don't know if you noticed when he made that out and ran through first base, kind of came up hobbling a little bit.
I did not notice.
Not sure what it might be, but hopefully the sign of him being in the dugout means he's okay to play.
1 ball and no strikes. With a 1-for-1 night, Colby Rasmus hitting .256. Colby drives one to left field, going back. Cowgill still going back at the wall and makes the catch. Colby gives it a ride, but a fine play by Cowgill in left field. And that'll do it for Houston. They get a couple of walks and leave a pair. We played 4.5, 6-3 Houston. something going on with the leg. Let's hope everything's okay.
Seemed to be moving pretty good getting out of the box. See him break down right there and chop his steps, and then just didn't look like the normal breakdown of a run for Jake Marisnick.
Kevin Eschenfelder is with us and maybe has a little something on that.
You know, you guys remember in that at bat, he did fouled one off his foot. So I'm wondering if that was part of it. Once he stopped running, it kind of bit him a little bit. But as soon as he came off, he went up the tunnel for just a couple of minutes, and he was right back out.
Another set of eyes. Thanks, Kevin.
That was real good.
We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Leadoff man Cole Calhoun at the plate. Calhoun has a 1-1 count, and it appears that Keuchel's starting to settle in, starting to find the strike zone now on his early pitches.
Yeah, doing all right. We know he likes to throw a lot of strikes, but that first 6 batters he faced, the first pitch strikes, he only threw 2 out of 6. But since then, the next 12 hitters, he's thrown 11 first pitch strikes. So that's the key for him, is getting ahead of these hitters.
He's ahead 1-2 on Calhoun. Mike Trout to follow, and then Albert Pujols. And he gets Calhoun on strikes. 5th strikeout now for Dallas Keuchel, out number 1 here in the 5th inning.
Good slider. It's not too often you find a pitcher that has one pitch that he can vary so frequently and so drastically like that slider that Dallas Keuchel has.
So Mike Trout stands in. Infield single and a fly out. Scored a run in that first inning after the infield single with a changeup. Any count for Dallas. Very big pitch. And that one called high. Tonight's the big fight in Houston.
Yeah.
That was to get started at 8 p.m. Central, so
they timed that perfectly.
They should have been well underway by now, huh?
I wonder how many undercard fights they had on that one.
Canelo Alvarez and James Kirkland. And a drive right center field. Back goes Marisnick. He's run out of room. This is a clout job. Number 9 on the year for Mike Trout. And the Angels creep closer. It's now 6-4.
That ball was absolutely annihilated. It's almost as if he was sitting on it, saw it, got it, and managed to get the pitch he was looking for hanging out over the middle of the plate. As you can see the eyes, he was bearing down on that thing and put every ounce of muscle behind it. To hit a ball up where he did, my goodness.
Bo Jackson, you mentioned it the other night. The guy that used to be known for hitting an occasional ball up there, but now Mike Trout does it on a somewhat regular basis.
Unbelievable. It's all about location when you're throwing some of these pitches. And that is just center cut.
Albert Pujols at the plate now.
Watch where this ball ends up. You got to be kidding me. Camera guy didn't believe it was going to go up that far.
Fly ball to right field. Stalking it, Rasmus to make the play, and out number 2. But you can see with that swing of Mike Trout, the way he drops the barrel and goes toward the heart of the field. He just doesn't pull many of his home runs. They are not cheapies. He goes to center field on the majority.
It's such a compact swing. It's not a big load. There's not a huge hitch in his swing. Swings down on the ball and still can launch a ball.
2 outs. David Freese, the cleanup man at the plate. Another peek at Mike Trout.
Just watch how quickly he gets to that baseball.
You know, you can get to hyping certain athletes, but in the case of Mike Trout, it's not hype. This guy is really something amazing. And he's still a baby.
Scary.
23 years of age. Former first rounder, 25th pick by the Angels. How did he get by 24 clubs?
Guess they didn't need a power hitting center fielder.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Something else, I guess, man.
Strike 3 called inside corner. A couple of strikeouts in the inning. 6 on the night for Keuchel. But the Angels strike on the Trout dinger. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. You go from the parking lot here in Anaheim, and I'm not so sure that Mike Trout's not going to hit a ball out there at some point.
Yeah, I apologize for getting excited about that home run he just hit, but the man is he's one of the few players in this league that literally I want to stop and watch him play the game. It's amazing because you don't know if he's going to launch one up halfway up the batting eye here in Anaheim, or if he's going to leg out a base hit. Whatever he does seems to be just electric.
Chris Carter at the plate has homered on the night. And why not get another look at the Mike Trout home run? You know, from former players, that's, oh my goodness. Yeah, that's kind of all you can say when you watch home runs like that. Carter fouls one off. It's 0-2. Miguel Cabrera, one of the guys you tend to watch, but yeah, look where this ball goes. Strike 3 called. Carter caught looking. 7 strikeouts now of Astros hitters. Out number 1 as Hank Conger comes to the plate.
It's a good heater from Alvarez. Down and in, got the benefit.
And Conger is grounded out and struck out.
It's one of the more frustrating things as a hitter. You lay off a pitch inside, maybe borderline, and you don't get the call to go your way. That's real frustrating. And these days, when you see all the pitch tracks that are up on the screen and all the electronics that show you exactly where that pitch is, and when you go back and you find out it actually was a ball, it's even that much more frustrating.
Well, part of what you go through as a hitter when you're slumping is somebody's telling you lay off the bad pitches, do not swing at them, and then you lay off and you get rung up.
Fun game.
There are nights when you go home and you do not think, wow, this is such a great game. Would you say that's fair?
Oh, there's been streaks. You know, you play long enough, you're going to have that 0 for 20 stretch, and you laying in bed at night going, am I ever going to get another hit?
But you can't picture how that hit is going to come about.
Yeah.
And then there are times you look out there and it looks like there's nobody playing defensively.
Thank goodness for those moments.
That didn't happen very often for one of us here.
Thanks, Ash.
No,
I know, I'm messing with you.
I got you.
I doubt that happened that often for you, but it's true. And thank goodness for those moments where it actually does feel like you've got it going on a little bit. But a cruel game.
Can be very tough. Hank Conger hitting 192 on the year. Preston Tucker waits on deck. And the changeup. We've got word on the fight, as Vinny Pastano now is throwing in the pen for the Angels. It's a one-out walk to Hank Conger that brings up Preston Tucker. What was that final word on the fight now already? 2:21 of the third round, knockout. Canelo knocks out Kirkland, so wow, it didn't last long.
Knocked him down 3 times. Apparently the third one was the one that put him out. Wow.
And Kirkland was the guy that had the reputation of being the big puncher.
Yep.
One out, Preston Tucker at the plate. Pops one up down the left field side. Long run for Cowgill in foul territory, makes the catch. Back to first base is Conger. That's 2 down as the 9-hitter Marwin Gonzalez will come to the plate. A right uppercut, and Stars came out.
So wait a minute, boxing, they fought in this boxing match, this fight?
Oh, I see.
Wait, what? Oh, no, you didn't.
I think I sense a little commentary there.
A little more exciting. Get your money's worth in the Kirkland fight. And the Alvarez uppercut is the one that does him in. That's what I'm talking about.
Third round, though. I wonder what you would have had to say about 3 rounds and they're done. Are you kidding me? Lou Piniella would have loved that fight.
I showed up for 12. got a third of a fight for full price.
That's too good. Too good. 6th inning, 6-4. Astros on top. Marwin has struck out and flied out. And a strike on the outside edge. The Astros got a run in the first inning on a Jose Altuve home run, his 4th of the year. The Angels came back with 2 runs in that first inning, 2-run single by Eric Ibar. And then Chris Carter launched a 2-run bomb to right field in the second inning. That was his 5th. The Astros got 3 in the third inning, highlighted by the home run from Colby Rasmus, also a 2-run job. The Angels have struck back for singletons in the 4th and 5th innings. They got a home run out of Mike Trout, and they awarded just 1 run for it, but could have possibly gone for more. So it's 6-4 here in the 6th inning. Marwin fouls it down the right side. Count stays at 1-2. Talked about the Astros record. 19-11. They're 11-3 on the road, just 8-8 at home. And that's a bit difficult to understand right now. But they've done very well in the American League West. 15-9 now. 2-2 the count. They swept their first interleague series, that against the Padres in San Diego. So they're 3-0 against the National League. 1-2 against the Central Division. That was the Indians coming in to start the season. And the Indians have had a big struggle since. Ground ball foul. Cardinals certainly a team playing very good baseball.
The Indians kind of had a tough draw early on in their season. They played the Tigers a bunch, playing the Royals a bunch. That's sometimes the issue with playing within your division this many times. It's kind of a rarity in these schedules this year.
And Marwin down on strikes. That'll do it for Houston. They leave a man on the walk. We played 5.5 with the Astros on top.
Park. This event features a pregame wine tasting and a wine stopper giveaway to the first 500 fans at the event. Partial proceeds will benefit breast cancer research at Houston Methodist Cancer Center. For tickets, visit astros.com/Grape Escape or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Eric Ibar leads off for the Angels here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Ibar singled in a pair in the 1st inning and has struck out. So 1 for 2 on the night, hitting .228. Infield drawn in on the corners as the count moves to 2-0. Keuchel has walked 2 on the night. They both came in the 1st inning. He's allowed 6 hits. 3 of those came in the 1st. And now 3-0 the count. Not the sharpest of nights for Dallas. He's allowed the most runs he's allowed in any of his 7 starts now in the season. Has a 3-1 count. Mentioned the Cardinals a moment ago. They lose in Pittsburgh 7-5 today. And another nice play by Valbuena. And he makes that 360 time after time on the backhand.
Sometimes at third base you get stuck on the in-between hop, and Valbuena is actually doing a pretty good job in this series of creating that in-between hop into a long hop. See how he kind of catches that ball a little bit deeper than maybe you normally would if you were able to get around it. Because at third base you really don't have much time to get your feet right when that ball is being smoked down there.
Looks like on that 360 that he goes the backward direction, that he actually enables himself to move back on the baseball into the 360.
He's perfected it. It's looking good. But what's great is when he does make that spin around, he does a good job of making sure that his shoulders are square to first base to make that good, strong, accurate throw.
Changeup just under the knees. 2 balls, no strikes. Giovotella, who is 1 for 1 with a walk. Singled and scored in the 4th inning. He scored from first base on that double down the right field line by Carlos Perez. Yeah, looking through some of the hitters on the Cardinals, and they're putting some numbers up again this year. Year after year, St. Louis, you can find them. If they're not in first place, they are in striking range.
Wasn't everybody complaining about losing Wainwright?
Yes. Yeah, and look at them go. Strike is called, 3-2.
What a huge hurdle that was going to be to overcome. That happened pretty quick.
Baltimore wins at New York, so the Yankees fall 6-2. Ground ball up the middle. Handled on that short hop on the run by Altuve, and out number 2. And how about Bryce Harper with Washington? Oh my goodness, 6 home runs in the last 3 games.
I always talk about Mike Trout. Bryce Harper finally answering the bell and all that hype that came along with it. We know the talent is in there, but being thrust in a spotlight at such a young age can cause some issues, but looks like that talent started to come around a little bit.
That swing right there might be as powerful as anybody in the game right now.
Well, I think that game he hit 3 home runs in. He hit 2 into the upper deck in right field at National Stadium.
One hopper up the middle. That's a base hit. Carlos Perez has his 2nd hit of the night, and it might be one of those series for Carlos Perez, getting a chance to play against the Houston Astros, though he never came to the big leagues with the Stros. A guy that was in the minor league system and now getting the chance in the big leagues.
Taking full advantage of it, too. Good stuff. It's always nice to see those guys that weren't supposed to be here get the opportunity and take full advantage of it.
It's been about 4 years ago I got to see Bryce Harper in, I think, his first, if not second season. Line drive right field coming on, and making the diving play is Rasmus. We'll talk about Harper later, but fine play by Rasmus. The defense really stepping up in the 6th inning. 6-4 Astros on top. Three frames of this one, game 3 of the series. The Astros trying to get on top a couple of games to 1 over the Angels. Right-hander Vinny Pistano will be the 3rd pitcher of the night for the Halos.
Making his 11th appearance. Left-handers are hitting 440. Or they hit 440 off of Vinny Pistano last year. Held right-handers to a 149 average. Allowed 1 run in 1 inning pitch last outing. It was a solo homer by Buster Posey.
Pistano pitched with the Angels and the Indians last year. Just a total of 25 games in the big leagues. Did a nice job, ERA of 2.89. And around the major league since 2010, when he came up with Cleveland. So now 6th year in the major leagues. He'll face top of the order for the Astros, Jake Marisnick, Jose Altuve, and Luis Valbuena. Marisnick 2 for 3 on his night, a single and a double. He has scored a run. He's been caught stealing. Carlos Perez has been very impressive for the Angels behind the plate.
And with the stick.
Yes. Shoemaker, Alvarez, and now Pestano for the Angels. It's been Keuchel all the way for Houston. Foul ball got into the seats pretty quickly on the right side. 1-1 on Jake, and he takes a strike.
Just a bit outside.
That slider gets yanked a bit.
Come on, Carlos, you got to do a better job of getting in front of that ball, don't you think, Ash?
I think you need to get down there and chat with the young man tomorrow.
We're going to do blocking drills, and I'm going to throw it 6 feet outside. I want you to get in front now.
Young man's been pretty darn good here.
Except for that blemish.
And the fastball got him. 90 miles an hour. Out number 1 here in the 7th inning. Marisnick now 2 for 4.
You can see why he's so tough on right-handers. That kind of three-quarter swing to his motion kind of creates that rising action on that fastball around 90 miles an hour.
So that's 9 strikeouts now of Astros hitters. Jose Altuve comes to the plate. 1 for 2. He homered his 4th on the year in the 1st inning, a solo job. He's grounded out and walked. And you can see that season batting average, 352. He won the batting title a year ago at 341. And he's better this year. 225 hits last year. And he's on a pace well ahead of that mark. Well, we'll see how it plays out for Jose. 0-2 the count. And there really is not much that Jose cannot handle when he swings the bat. Bat starts, he goes through. The home plate umpire, Rob Drake, takes it and calls it. A couple of strikeouts here in the 7th inning. And now 10 on the night. Luis Valbuena comes to the plate.
Pestano pitching with a little marinara on the ball. Look at the movement he gets on the side of this. Look at a guy hitting 341. Sorry, 351, I think you said?
Yes.
To take a swing like that, that's a guy who can put a bat on anything you throw up there.
Valbuena is 1 for 3. Gets a dance lesson.
That is strikeout 281 for the Houston Astros.
How do they stand on pace with last year, for
They're
example?
exceeding it by a good 3 or 4%.
So the strikeouts are up. They do not seem to be impairing the ability to win ball games early. If the Astros can win tonight's game, they would be 20-11. It's a big if right now.
20 games in the win column. Wow. That was expansive right there.
2 balls and a strike. These Angels are just 7-8 at home. One hopper on the right side, handled by Giovotella. He'll throw out Valbuena. 1-2-3 7th inning. Through 6.5, 6-4 Houston.
in the Bud Patio from 5 o'clock to 6:30. The next Young Professionals night of the season is Thursday, May 14th. For more information, visit astros.com/Young Professionals or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. There you see the number 50 retired here in Anaheim, and that is Jimmy Reese, thought to be the only coach to have his number retired. And guys, you know the story all too well. Passed away in 1994 at the age of 92, but this was a guy who was Babe Ruth's roommate. He was also a coach, a longtime coach, joined the Angels in 1971. He was the fungo master. They said he could pitch batting practice by hitting line drives into the catcher's mitt from the mound with his fungo bat. He also, Nolan Ryan was one of his favorites, and Nolan's younger of two sons, Reed's younger brother, Reese, is named after Jimmy Reese. Guys?
Thanks, Kevin. I was around with Jimmy Reese as one of the coaches, and though I never saw him actually pitch batting practice, that was the long-time story, and there are many who swear by that story. One out here in the 7th inning as Colin Cowgill grounds one back to the mound. And now the top of the order, Cole Calhoun will stand in. Calhoun 1 for 3 on his night. Had a base hit on the first pitch thrown by Dallas Keuchel on the evening. And scored the first of the 2 runs scored by the Angels back in the first inning. Pat Neshek, the right-hander, now throwing in the Astros pen. Shift on Cowgill, or rather Calhoun, despite the fact that he's hit a few balls toward left field here in the series, and he's stung them well. As a 1-1 count. The Astros as a team start play tonight, tied for second in the American League in team ERA at 3.40. Trailing only, and I think this is a big surprise for a lot of people, the New York Yankees, tied with Kansas City at that 3.40 mark. But Dallas Keuchel has been a big part of that reason. 0.80 the ERA starting play tonight. Second best in the league qualifiers. Nick Martinez of the Texas Rangers at 147. Sonny Gray and Felix Hernandez following. But that's how good Dallas has been. On the offensive side, the Astros have balanced out to right about the middle of the pack in terms of runs per game. And now a 3-2 count. I think Dallas would acknowledge he's just having a tough time finishing off sequences tonight. Three and 2 with 1 out here in the 7th. And got him on the slider. A lot of confidence in that pitch.
It's a good one, but you're right. That's actually a really good point. He's actually gotten ahead of quite a few guys here in the last couple innings, but just takes him a good 2 or 3 pitches to actually finish off the at-bat. Next pitch will be his 100th.
So this is likely the final inning for Dallas. Can't you see Pat Neshek throwing in the Astros pen? Mike Trout stands in, 2 outs, nobody on base. He's 2 for 3, and the second of those hits, a tremendous bomb to center field. His 9th long ball of the year. This pitch is crushed, but hooks foul down the left field side. Well, I said he doesn't pull many for home runs, but he got around on this thing.
Tried to come into the house. Tough to sneak the cheese past a rat with quick hands like that.
That rat is feeling frisky right now, too. He's taking some big swings. Keuchel brings the 1-2 on the hands, but he puts it into right field. So a bit of a shift on. Trout takes advantage, comes up with his 3rd hit on the night. Speed aboard with 2 outs for Albert Pujols.
This pitch by pitch is presented to you by Steel Dealers. Dallas Keuchel against Albert Pujols. Paint that outside corner, get the call, get him to chase as he stretched that outside corner, then bust him in. Lock up a great hitter in Albert Pujols.
A.J. Hinch comes on out, and yeah, I wonder, is he going to let Dallas take it? No, he's going to go to the bullpen. Pat Neshek will come on, and I think the honest answer maybe from Dallas tonight is, you know, I'd love to take it, but I haven't been as sharp as I'd like to be.
And it kind of looked, if you could read A.J. Hinch's lips, he goes, I wanted you to finish this thing off, but I don't think he wants to push that pitch count up any higher than he has to. He's done a fantastic job. That actually giving up those 4 runs in this game for Dallas Keuchel breaks that string we talked about of consecutive quality starts.
Yes. So Neshek comes on. Astros with a 2-run lead. Mike Trout comes up with a single, and that does it for Dallas Keuchel on the night as Pat Neshek now comes in and tries to shut it down, that drop-down delivery against Albert Pujols.
Tough against right-handed hitters is Neshek. He earned his 3rd win a couple nights ago.
Tries to pick the outside corner. 1 ball and no strikes. Pujols with an 11-game hitting streak is 0 for 3 on the night. Struck out once against Keuchel. Dallas struck out 7 for his evening. And now 2 balls and no strikes. A dangerous count. Waiting on deck is David Freese. 13 games on the season. Been a bit of the vulture, picking up 3 wins already. 4.09 that ERA.
Number you're not going to see on there is 11 innings pitched. No walks. Even with that funky delivery, he's able to repeat and find that strike zone.
And he found it right on the outside corner. Has not hit a batter. Has struck out 12 in his 11 innings. And I wonder if Albert Pujols would try to shoot toward right center field. He's got a wide open right side of the infield. He does go that way, but Rasmus is there, and that'll do it. Pujols induced to fly out by Pat Neshek. The Angels get a hit and leave him, and it's still 6-4 Houston. And their fourth pitcher of the night, it's Mike Morin, as he comes on now to work in the 8th inning. He'll face the 4, 5, and 6 spots. Evan Gattis leads it off, followed by Colby Rasmus and Chris Carter.
Last pitched on Monday this week. Threw a perfect inning against Seattle. Marked his 3rd consecutive scoreless home appearance.
So Morin has been very effective. That whip at 0.82, as you saw there. The Astros with that 2-run lead, and can they continue that trend they've had this year when they score 4 or more runs? They're 16-0 and would love to add one more to it here this evening. Evan Gattis 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. He's drawn a walk. That left side of the infield pulled around to that right side, and now grounding out on the left side is Evan Gattis. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 8th inning. And some of the family in the booth. Yeah, I've got
give it a wave. Say hello.
My son Jared and Becca and the kids, and so we're all just having a grand old time here this evening and rooting for who? The Astros, guys? Absolutely. So a big hello to everybody back in Houston. 1 out here in the 8th inning. Colby Rasmus will stand in. He has walked, homered, and flied out. Colby now with 6 long balls on the year. Hitting .253 overall. As he takes a strike. That shift on. That leaves Featherston as the only infielder on the left side, and he backs up now after the first strike. Colby takes another strike, 0-2 the count. The Astros struck for 3 home runs back in the first 3 innings, 1 in each frame. They got started as Jose Altuve launched, won his 4th of the year in the first inning, made it 1-0. Angels came back with 2 of their own in that first inning against Keuchel. But then Chris Carter hit a 2-run job in the 2nd inning. Another 2-run home run by Colby Rasmus in the 3rd inning. And that's all the 6 runs for Houston on the night. Angels have just kept plugging away, 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 4th, and 1 in the 5th, as this ball is fouled down the right field side. One and 2 the count.
Magic number of 16-0 is up to the bullpen now for the Houston Astros.
So 6 2/3 innings of work tonight by Dallas Keuchel. He allows 8 hits and all 4 runs against Dallas earned. And that's a high water mark on the season. In fact, doubling the previous high of runs against Dallas in a start this year. He walked a pair. They came in the first inning and struck out 7.
It's good to see the offense show up and support Dallas Keuchel. We've seen some games where he's gone 9 shutout innings and had to come out with a no decision, but tonight the long ball helping him out.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Caught looking is Rasmus. First time he has struck out tonight. That's 11 as the Astros go down again.
Follow the Astros all season with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, statcasts, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet.
2 down for Chris Carter. Carter with that home run back in the 2nd inning. Opposite field job, his 5th on the year. Since then he has struck out twice. A ball and a strike on Chris. That batting average still at 157. In fact, this part of the batting order here this evening would indicate some struggles. 157 for Carter, Conger at 192, and 111 for Preston Tucker. And there's Conger. Conger's kind of been that personal catcher now the last few starts for Dallas Keuchel. Fastball chopped left side, going to be tough for Featherston. With the glove, he makes the play in a 1-2-3 eighth inning. So the Astros go down quietly, but lead it 6-4. Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare right now at southwest.com. We go to the bottom of the eighth inning. 6-4 Astros on top of the Halos. Angels about hit them 8-6 on this evening. Dallas Keuchel is in position to pick up the W this evening. For the Angels here against Pat Neshek in the eighth inning, it's David Freese, Eric Ibar, and Johnny Giavotella. Neshek came on and got Albert Pujols to fly out to end the seventh inning. And now works here into the eighth.
What's interesting about that, Ash, is that Mike Trout was on first base with a base hit off of Dallas Keuchel, and Neshek has yet to allow an inherited runner this far this year.
For the Astros in the bullpen, it's busy. Tony Sipp, the left-hander, and Will Harris, the right-hander, getting loose. David Freese with a 1-1 count. And grounds one left side. It's Valbuena once again. He's been very busy, and he has been quite successful. Out number one here in the eighth. With one out, it brings up the shortstop, Eric Ibar. Ibar with that two-run single in the first inning. He has been quiet since. He has struck out and grounded out, and it took a gem in the sixth inning to get him, that by Valbuena.
It's like having another shortstop over there at third base, ranging way to his left.
Semi-shift on now as Marwin Gonzalez, the shortstop, moves toward second base. And drawn in on the third base side, Valbuena. Neshek comes with a strike at the knees. Dallas Keuchel allowing the 4 earned runs tonight sees his ERA push upward to 139. Still outstanding stuff, but coming up a good ways from that 080 that he started the night with. It's a ball and a strike. It's the 6th meeting on the year between these two clubs. The Astros have taken 3 of the first 5. Pat Neshek rubbing up the baseball, has a 1-2 count. And got him. High cheese. First strikeout for Neshek, 8th for the Astros staff. 2 down as Johnny Giovotella comes to the plate.
It's amazing to me how Neshek creates that much velocity with emotion, where he doesn't really square off to the hitter. He doesn't turn those shoulders at all. He almost faces him front side the whole way there, but just somehow reaching back with that arm and slinging that thing in there. That last pitch got up to 92 miles an hour.
Pretty amazing. Giovotella 1 for 2 on the night. He has walked and singled, scored a run after singling in the 4th inning, and takes a strike. So Neshek and company from the bullpen trying to lock this thing down for Dallas Keuchel. Keuchel has been very unfortunate coming into this start. He could have been a perfect 6-0 on the season, and yet trying to pick up win number 4 with tonight's game.
It's a big out right here. If they get this out, finish off this 8th inning, the Astros are 14-0 after leading 8 innings.
One of those amazing numbers this year. And now 1-2 the count. Yeah, it's the 16-0 with the 4 runs that probably jumps out most to me. In 1-run games, A.J. Hinch's club is 7-2. And we check in with Kevin once again.
You know, you were talking about the record after 8 innings. Another reason to finish this inning off as well is you'll be facing, 7, 8, 9 in the 9th inning.
Very good point. Giovotella, the 6th hitter in the batting order for the Angels. So the Astros 7-2 in 1-run games, 3-2 in 2-run affairs. And they've spread it around nicely. They're 9-4 against lefty starters, 10-7 against the right-handers. Pitch hit in the air left field, easy as Tucker comes in. And that'll do it. A 1-2-3 8th inning. Neshek has gotten 4 big outs. It's 6-4 Houston. Pitcher on the night, Ryan Matthews, the right-hander, comes on, and he'll face the bottom 3 spots in the order for Houston: Hank Conger, Preston Tucker, and Marwin Gonzalez.
This will be Matthews' Angels debut. Had his contract selected from AAA prior to last night's game. Seen some of the issues with the Angels bullpen in recent days. First game of the series, Houston Street blew a save. The night before that, he blew a save also. Pitched quite a few innings in those appearances.
Ryan Matthews is in his 4th year in the big leagues, all with the Washington Nationals. 7-7 lifetime with an ERA of 3.60. And he's had a lot of work. In fact, a few years ago, 2012, had 66 appearances, 145 overall. So he'll work it to the bottom 3 in the order for the Astros. Hank Conger 0 for 2 with a walk. All that scoring early for the Astros. 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 3 in the third. And the big swings, home runs, 3 home runs over that span. Altuve, Carter, and Colby Rasmus all with the long balls. And Blummer, we've talked about a lot of the nights where the heart of the order has not been able to get anything done. Tonight, that hasn't been the case.
Yeah, A.J. Hinch has had to mix it up, and we saw that Marisnick, normally hitting 9th, was moved into that leadoff spot, pushing Altuve down, therefore pushing Valbuena into that 3-hole. Had himself a base hit and an RBI. Rasmus sneaks into that 5-hole. Had himself a big home run, 2 RBIs, but it's good to see production out of that middle part of the order, which has been pretty vacant. How about since that 3rd inning when they scored those 3 runs, the only way they've gotten on base is 3 walks. Not even a hit since that 3rd inning.
So the bats have gone dormant, and they'd like to maybe add a little insurance here in the 9th inning.
Well, I think adding 1 more run would be great. Would believe that, well, you see that Chad Qualls is out there getting loose. Luke Gregerson on that family emergency list, unavailable for this game.
Backdoor slider got him looking. So Conger down on strikes, 2nd time for Hank tonight. 12 strikeouts of Astros hitters. That's out number 1 as it brings up Preston Tucker. Tucker 0 for 3 on the night. Lined out to center field and then was robbed by the second baseman Gio Votella with a nice play in the 4th inning. He's also flied out to left. So an 0 for night, but he has swung it pretty well as he takes a strike.
Let this kid swing
a lot. Ball and a strike on Preston. That batting average, as we said moments ago, at 111. But really more about evaluating the at-bats and swings right now. And it looks like he's a guy that could really help out with the bat.
He's got a quiet front side. You know, that stride foot is soft when he puts it down. Hands are ready to fire. There's Chad Qualls getting loose. Coming in for that save for the Houston Astros. Had plenty of those last year.
I have a bit of a surprise that Preston Tucker, as good as he looks right now, was originally a 7th-round pick of the Astros in 2012. Now, this is a guy that played college ball at Florida.
Don't knock those 7th-round picks now.
No, and I don't want to do that, but I'm surprised he slipped that far.
I know, I agree.
Now, I know you wouldn't have slipped that far.
Oh, I did.
A big, hard-playing infielder. It's a 1-out walk to Tucker. It brings up Marwin Gonzalez. What have you seen in terms of how Tucker runs?
I think he's pretty good. I've heard good things about him playing left field, so that tells me that he can run a little bit. It's either that or he gets really good jumps out there in the outfield, but from what I've seen, seems to be a pretty good athlete. I like the fact that he didn't expand the zone right there and chase a pitch out of the zone, decided to take the walk. This was a sign of a mature hitter.
Marwin stands in 0 for 3, a couple of punch outs, and he fouls one off. Good chance to check in with Kevin Eschenfelder once again.
Yeah, when Preston was a freshman at Florida, 2009, he drove in 11 runs against UCF in a game. He had a grand slam in the 3rd inning, came back in the 5th, had a 3-run home run, and then had a grand slam in the 6th inning. And if you were wondering about him, his ability to run, I asked his dad that the other night. He looked at me and said, he runs better than he looks. So there you go.
That's a good scouting report right there.
Yeah, that was always kind of the reverse of me. I had a scouting report given on me one time. It said, speed deceiving, slower than he looks. So I always appreciated a fine scouting report. 0-2 the count on Marwin. Marlin getting the start tonight at shortstop. VR had played the previous 2 at short, and now 1 and 2.
You knew Marwin was going to play shortstop with Dallas Keuchel on the mound.
The steady guy out there at short.
For me, yeah. Got to have that guy that's going to make that consistent routine play at shortstop. Marwin is your man.
And he takes one inside. That front side coming open just a bit. We're in the 9th inning, 6-4 Houston. The Astros jumped out on top, hitting home runs in each of the first 3 innings, but have been, as we've been talking about, very quiet since the 4th inning. Only reaching via the walk since that point as the throw goes over.
Tell you what, we'd get a good idea if Preston Tucker can run, if Marwin Gonzalez could manage to find a gap with a hit. See Tucker get on his horse and possibly score.
I'll give you some minor league numbers through 4 seasons for Preston Tucker. 10 stolen bases in 16 tries, so nothing exceptional there. And Marwin down on strikes. Couple of strikeouts here in the 9th inning. Tucker still at first base, and with 2 outs back to the top, Jake Marisnick. For Marisnick on the night, he started fast, a single in the first inning, was caught stealing in that first, and then doubled and scored in the 3rd inning. He was aboard on the home run by, or rather scored on the hit by Luis Valbuena. Ground ball to 3rd. They'll go the short way to 2nd for the force, and that'll do it. A walk, and they leave a man. To the bottom of the 9th we go. The Astros trying to hang on at 6-4 Houston.
With your beer. Jose Altuve getting it started early with that blast to left field. Then it was Chris Carter. That was a good sign to see from the big man. Going the other way, driving in some runs, providing that offense. Also was Colby Rasmus. Got himself a hanging split finger and launched it into the night. You think he knew it? There was no doubt on that one. Well into the stands in right center field. 3 blasts supporting the pitching efforts of Dallas Keuchel. 2-run lead. Chad Qualls coming in.
Here you go. 2-run lead in the 9th inning as Chad Qualls tries to shut it down. Couple of saves already on the year in 3 tries. He'll face the bottom 3 in the order, as Kevin Eschenfelder mentioned. A big out to get Johnny Giovotella to end the 8th inning. So it's Carlos Perez to lead it off. Matt Joyce has a bat waiting on deck as he will pinch hit for Taylor Featherston. And the first pitch misses. Angels with 8 hits on the night to the Astros 6. But those long balls make a big difference. 3 for Houston, 1 for the Halos. Last year, Chad Qualls had 19 saves for the club. Those came in 25 chances. And he gets in front on the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Carlos Perez is 2 for 3 tonight. He's doubled and singled. But those came after a very big at bat back in the first inning. He grounded into a double play. Bases were loaded at the time. 2 runs were in. And Dallas Keuchel was struggling. But that double play helped settle Dallas down. And the Astros now trying to bring home the W. Ground ball foul outside the bag at third. Good crowd on hand tonight. Balls come set. And again, it's chopped foul. With the 2 hits tonight, Perez is hitting .385. So he's off to quite a start with the Angels. Became a big hero here in town in his major league debut. Hit a walk-off home run on Tuesday night. And now has a 2-2 count.
That's one way to endear yourself to the home fans. Gotta make them remember your name. Walk-off home runs usually do that.
And in the process became just the 4th player all-time to hit a walk-off home run in his major league debut. So it's a special night. Strike 3 called. Chad Qualls gets him. And that starts the 9th inning. 1 out as Matt Joyce will come up as a pinch hitter.
And Qualls returning into those closing duties. Not an ideal pitch, but enough to get that strikeout. He's always had such excellent run on that fastball coming back towards the zone.
Matt Joyce stands in, hitting .148. It's been a slow start. Does have a home run. And Qualls has the ground ball. Diving stop. Altuve. And got him. Boy, the defense has been spectacular tonight. And another one here in the 9th inning. This by Altuve.
Seems like everybody on the Astros defense has been tested. And they keep answering the bell. But right here, just another great play from Jose Altuve. Swinging the bat well. Playing great defense. Nothing this kid can't do right now.
Some kind of play, and now 2 outs as Colin Cowgill stands in. Cowgill 0 for 3, all 3 outs via the ground ball, and all 3 against Dallas Keuchel. First pitch in for a strike. This is where you want to get it done. Cole Calhoun waits on deck, a guy that has plenty of pop. Slider in the dirt, a ball and a strike.
That's what lies beyond Calhoun that freaks you out a little bit.
Dallas Keuchel trying to improve to 4-0. His 7th start of the year. And I think Dallas would tell you tonight was probably his least effective start of the season. But the chance to pick up the W. And now a 1-2 count.
It just seemed like Dallas really had to work for the win tonight.
Yes. Yeah. That's about the right way to state it, I think. It just felt like an effort all the way through. Down to a strike. Qualls brings it. And a little chopper third base side going to be tough. Bare hand effort, the throw not in time. Everything Valbuena had, but it wasn't enough. Infield single with 2 outs, and now you go to the top with Cole Calhoun.
That's what's so tough about a guy like Chad Qualls, who has a great sinker ball. He can go into the kitchen of right-handed hitters and just blow them up completely, but when they keep it fair and it's not hit that hard, extremely tough for any third baseman to come in here and make this play. But Valbuena, a little more accurate throw, might have had a chance to pull it off. All you could do right there on a do-or-die play.
Chris Carter will play right behind the runner at first base. That run doesn't mean anything. But at the same time, not a bad idea to keep that force in effect at second base. And a 1-0 count on Calhoun, who is 1 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts, had a first inning single and scored one of those 2 runs back in the first inning. Runner goes from first, and a hot shot foul down the left side. The Astros continue to play in a shift against Calhoun, and yet he continues to hit balls on that left side.
It really looked like he was trying to fight that ball and make it go that way. That ball was crazy deep.
Came up with a hit in the series against Joe Thatcher that just looked like he intended to go to left field, and he put it right in that direction. Houston Street getting loose in the pen for the Angels. Again, the runner goes, and again the pitch is fouled off. So it's 1-2 now on Calhoun, and again down to a strike.
Yeah, the exaggerated shift. I understand why they're shifting Calhoun, but with a guy on the mound like Chad Qualls, who has an excellent sinker and throws hard on top of it, you might want to, for me, maybe sneak that shortstop back over on the left side of second base.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Just in case. Still leave him enough range to cover up the middle.
The 1-2. Again, the runner goes, and the pitch in the dirt. So safely in the second is Colin Cowgill. Again, that run doesn't mean anything, but sometimes you'll get a ground ball that leaves you only one chance. That would be the force at second, and now that's gone. And I think that would be the reason that Cowgill was on the move, just to try to take that chance away. 2-2. And now 3-2. And in case you needed to check, it's Mike Trout waiting on deck. A.J. Hinch knows all about that. Dangerous hitter at the plate, but it gets even more dangerous if you go past Calhoun. The 3-2. Little chopper is foul.
Great pitch. 3-2 count. You have to be aggressive in the zone, and Chad Qualls did a good job of getting in the kitchen. Again, throwing that power sinker, bringing it just over that inside edge, forcing Calhoun to swing at it, because if he takes that, I guarantee you Rob Drake's going to ring him up.
Well, again, we'll do it with a 3-2 count, first base open. But again, Mike Trout on deck. Line drive, base hit down the left field side. Extra bases. It's now 6-5, and Calhoun is in scoring position. And Mike Trout coming to the plate. I don't know. I don't see the Astros going after Trout here.
Be interesting to see. Calhoun with a heck of an at-bat. Finally got an elevated fastball, was able to get on top of it and rocket it the other way. But just great placement by him. A.J. Hinch is going to come out and have his talk with Chad Qualls and see what he wants to do. Or he may be doing what you said, Ash, recommending he put him on and go after Albert Pujols.
You know what, on further reflection, I probably would not want to put the speed of Trout at first base as the winning run.
Well, we've seen that situation before with the winning run in Mike Trout at first base and Albert Pujols at home plate. And a lousy ground ball down the third baseline turned into a game-winning hit.
Exactly. So Calhoun goes the other way, as we were talking about. Comes up with the double. It's now 6-5, and they're going to put him on. Wow, does that speak volumes about the respect for Mike Trout? So the Astros led this game at one point 6-2. It's now 6-5, and Albert Pujols is going to be coming to the plate with the tying run at second, the winning run at first, and you have to be aware of that running game with Chad Balls on the mound.
I wasn't sure if this was ever going to happen in my lifetime, watching Albert Pujols be on a team and having somebody in front of him intentionally walk to get to Albert Pujols.
And to further complicate things, Albert Pujols has 3 career home runs against Chad Balls. So here we go.
But that was the previous Chad Pauls, according to what they think of him now. I mean, the previous Albert Pujols, I apologize, as compared to the guy that they're going to face now.
And of course, Albert Pujols is going to try to prove that he is that same guy, hitting .241. Who wins that argument?
We're about to find out. A couple of salty veterans going after it too. A lot of experience that you talked about, Ash, and facing each other in that what was the National League Central when Albert was with St. Louis. A couple times recently in the AL West.
525 career home runs. It's a ground ball left side. Handled by Marlin. They'll get the force. Marlin with a nice play to his left, feeds on to Altuve, and the Astros hang on and win 6-5 tonight to make it 2-1 in this 4-game series. And the Astros are going to enjoy this one.